And good morning. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. Today, being a good little boy and wearing my glasses. And this is things you might not have heard for Thursday, March the 3rd, 2022. What we're going to present to you in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so are 5 news stories that are literally vetted by you that we believe are more conversational, some things you can go out and talk to the world about and chat with people up at the water cooler or the ice cream parlor or at the soda shop, if those things still exist. And these stories are obviously things that happened yesterday or in the last 30 hours or so. We pulled them right before we prepared for the show about 5 a.m. and we're presenting to you 5 stories you can go out there and talk to chat to people about that aren't necessarily the big breaking headline news, which is all about Russia. 2 Russia related stories that are pretty interesting for today. But these are stories that you can go out there and chat with for people and show people things you might not have heard or things they might not have heard, plus a few extra specials coming up. Let's get to the stories right now. We're going to start off with our first story for the morning. It goes like this. Kim Kardashian declared legally single from Kanye West. Page6.com is our source for this. And yes, legally single is what we're saying because she is legally single. She's not quite divorced. She is legally single, which sort of means the same thing, but doesn't. Why does it mean something different? Well, Kanye had been fighting the whole divorce proceedings, not so much because he didn't want to actually be divorced from Kim, which may or may not be the truth, but he wanted to take care of all the property, all the custody battles in one fell swoop. What happened was none of that stuff is taken care of. None of the legal stuff as far as the money, the house, the kids, none of that stuff is resolved. There's still plenty of drama going on, so there'll still be plenty of Kanye going on. But Kim Kardashian is no longer married to Kanye West. So Kanye West can date whoever he wants to, which he does. And Kim Kardashian can date whoever she wants to, which she does. And it won't affect any of the legal wranglings on the stuff. They no longer have that coupling as in the legal piece of paper that says they are bound by God because, who cares about God when it's all about the courts and paying fees? So they're free to live their lives as they want to. However, Kanye West is still trying to get some stuff out of the whole divorce thing. So they are legally done, legally single from each other. Divorce, it's a technical term. It's all a technical term. Story number 2. NASCAR Hall of Fame owner Richard Childress donating 1 million rounds of ammunition to Ukraine. USA Today, the story, a source of that story. And this is an interesting one. We've had stories of crypto bros sending cryptocurrency to Ukraine because you can do that. We have, the Ukrainian Foreign Legion essentially showing up where people in places as odd as Japan are showing up to fight for the freedom of Ukrainians. And now we have a Hall of Fame owner who has lots of money, who's not quite sending money in dollars, just sending lots of bullets, 1 million rounds of ammunition. If you think this war is getting weird, trust me, only a week into it, in fact, that it's not over because of overwhelming support from the world or Putin had the crushing army that he thought he did, it's going to get a whole lot weirder. There's a whole lot more stuff to go down in this thing. So don't sleep on Ukraine. Ukraine is a big deal for everyone. Do not sleep on Ukraine. And while we're not sleeping on Ukraine, we're going to go to the next story, which is also on Ukraine or Russian sort of interest. Equipment giant CCM Hockey will no longer use Alex Ovechkin, other Russians in global marketing. USA Today, the source of that one as well. This is where the war is affecting the pocketbooks of everyone. And this is affecting the pocketbooks of Russians directly. Even if those Russians have no political say, they're not oligarchs. They make their money the old-fashioned way by going out someplace and earning it, literally. Alex Ovechkin, one of the best hockey players in the world, who plays, of course, because he's the best player, plays for the NHL because there's money here and not in Russian hockey. He's no longer going to be the face of a company. CCH Hockey is a really big deal in hockey gear, hockey jerseys. I think they basically own the rights to all the professional gear they're wearing. If it's not done by like Nike, Nike and Adidas took over soccer and football and trying to take over baseball. I think all the jerseys are produced by CCM on the national level or the pro level. And this is a big deal. Alex Ovechkin is a player that everyone seems to love because he seems like a fairly good guy. He just happens to be Russian. And because the Russians are attacking a sovereign nation that's not their own, guess what? Alex Ovechkin is paying some of the cost. He may not be a mega yacht. It may not be a super deluxe apartment. I'm not sure if he has a nice place to stay, but Alex Ovechkin's feeling the heat because another manufacturer, advertiser, another business group has decided they're pulling out of Russia, or at least they're pulling out of their marketing for Russians, I guess, in around the world, it says, for global advertising. Story number next is this one. Fitbit recalls smartwatches with batteries that can overheat and burn the user. Sounds like a bad thing. NPR.org is our source for that one. So check your local news source, check your online source, and look for the Fitbit model that's here. I don't have it here, and oddly enough, I have a new Fitbit right there, but it is not the model, so I get to keep mine and have all the fancy cool things happen. It's one of the I should have pulled the listing from the thing when I pulled through, but there's 1 million. I think it's like 1 million Fitbits are out there because the batteries can overheat. The weird thing about these things is it always takes like 2.5 years for things to happen. It's like car recalls. I had a recall for my Kia Soul that I had cleared about 6-8 months ago when I had some other issues. So I thought maybe clearing that recall will do that. That recall was in effect about 3 years. And I had the car for like 9. So it takes forever for these things to be found. But hey, I'm not the person running global money and stuff like that. I don't make the recalls. I just show up to get my car fixed. And they didn't fix the car, which is the really sad part about it. So today, we're going to stop and pause for a moment and check out one of our sponsors. This is Blinkist. This is the conversation. Project.com/Blinkist is a place where you can get more books read much faster and learn more good stuff. Yes, I said it that way. So what happens with Blinkist? Blinkist allows you to take in the essence of great books, nonfiction and autobiographies, as they break down all the books into blinks. They break them out into the main bits and pieces of the story, main bits and pieces of the book, so you can go through and essentially cliff notes it, and you can read it, or you can listen to it as audiobook in as little as 15 minutes. It's that simple. I'm able to read a book before I go to work and when I go to bed because I can read them in the blinks. And so they have all sorts of categories of things that you think you're interested in and things you think you never know about. They go into the brain and science. They go into all sorts of philosophy. There's business books, there's philosophy books, there's lots of autobiographies out there because they fit in the realm. And they also have a couple cool things, including shortcasts. They take some of your longer, more popular podcasts and chop those back down to 15 minutes. And they also have these things that are longer than 15 minutes, but they are essentially stories to put you to sleep. You want a bedtime story read to you? Check out the Blinkist app. This is the conversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is the conversation.com project.com/Blinkist. One more time with feeling. This is the conversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is an affiliate link, so we do get a little piece from this here, but it's not going to cost you anything extra, and you're going to love it. Get 7 days of a full ride on the main app with Blinkist and this link we have here. Our final prefab story for the day is this one. Morgan Ortigas fails trivia test on Tennessee District. Mediaite.com has this one. And what does this mean? Who is Morgan Ortigas and why do we care? We probably don't care that much, but here's who she is. Morgan Ortigas, I'm sure I'm saying that, butchering that wrong. She's a former State Department spokesperson, and she's a former Fox News contributor. So she's been on the news. She's talked some stuff up, and she has gone home to Tennessee, or at least Tennessee is where her home is now because she's running for an office there. She wants to run for Congress in Tennessee, and she had a chance to do a radio interview with a popular radio host and failed miserably on the story. Now, sidebar, something that was kind of cool in my life. I used to produce a Sunday morning talk show with a political commentary guy, and every year when they had the Miss Arkansas pageant, because he's a popular guy and people liked him, they did it till they got to one point when they just got mad at him. Every year, the Miss Arkansas pageant would happen on Saturday night. Sunday morning, she would join him on the radio and do a interview because it's a big news station and we use it for news stuff on Monday morning. And he always give them like an Arkansas quiz, and they would fail it miserably because it'd be like obscure Arkansas things that if you paid attention in civics class and were still like 19, 20 years old, then yes. But since these people were, models and trying to do other things, and want to save the baby seals, it was all sort of stuff that you glossed over once you passed the class. It was hilarious until somebody thought it wasn't hilarious, and they stopped letting him talk to Miss Arkansas. They stopped letting him talk to a lot of people, but that's a whole nother sidebar in itself. But Morgan Ortega's, much like Dr. Oz, sort of carpetbagging to run for an office in a place that she doesn't necessarily live, and she don't know much about where she's living to the carpetbag for that one in itself. Let's go to a story that we call a teaser story, because that's what it is. This story is one that's going to be posted in about an hour or so. It's a very sad story, but it is something that you may want us to talk about tomorrow if you choose so. This headline for this one reads, Stanford women's soccer player Katie Meyer, sorry about the mouse not moving, found dead on campus, age 22, after leading championship run. And so we're not going to go deep into the story, except to tell you that it will be posting in about an hour or so. We pre-post as many things as possible throughout the day to get to the full list. If this is something that's on your radar, whether you're a sports fan, whether you're a Stanford alum, you want to get in this one, you can push this one up by engaging with the story as it posts coming along. And what does engaging with stories mean? Why am I rambling about feeds and things like that? Well, it means a lot, actually, because it's how things work around here. Let me show you exactly how things work around here. We have three main websites that we need you to keep up with. And the first one being the main website. This is theconversationproject.com. That website houses the Conversation Project, houses 8 things to talk about, houses the weekly wrap up, houses things you might not have heard. It also is not updated very regularly. So the big things there are go to our sponsors page and go to our partnerships page and keep up whatever information you want to get from there. We're working on it. Day job. This isn't paying the bills. So this is a side gig. So there you go. Also, stop by facebook.com/this is a conversation project or twitter.com/th_conversation. Whether you're a Facebooker or a Twitter folk, this is how you follow the feeds we're talking about. You click on the links and you follow those things and make sure they're set so that they show up in your feed. And as the stories come through your feed, every 50 minutes, a brand new story, like them, love them, hate them, share them. Be a part of the deal by literally giving us the stories to pick from every single morning from Tuesday through Friday. We'll go through the top 15 of the stories that, based on the rankings of the day, I pulled them up right before I came out here, and then we'll give you 5 of those stories as conversational topics. On the weekends, we go from Friday to Monday, so we're probably going to do 6 on Monday. We hadn't had a chance to do that because of technical difficulties, but this Monday we'll probably do 6. If we're feeling kind of froggy, we might even get 7. You never know. We'll go from the top 25 though, because there's more stories in the weekend. So we'll expand the linkage of top stories throughout that week. By the way, some other things you might not have known today. Birthdays for the day. Tone Loc, Julie Bowen, and Jessica Biel, all celebrating happy March 3rd birthdays. It's also National Mulled Wine Day. And I've never actually had national or mulled wine, definitely not nationally, but there's a day for it. So if you're down with it, it's really not a bad day for wine. So there you go. National Mulled Wine Day. Check it out at your local store and see if they got some $5 mulled wine at your local Trader Joe's. They probably got something to take care of you. Oh, by the way, one last thing that you might not have heard for today. The person first convicted of speeding was only going about 8 miles an hour. So you can kind of gauge what speeding was back in the way back wins. But the first person ever literally convicted of speeding someplace wasn't going very fast, or at least not so fast per our end. Of course, I don't think they were breaking 4-minute miles then either, so it probably might have felt like breakneck speed where they're going. But keep that as a trivia tip in your bonnet in case you need to throw something out there, or a bar bet. I wouldn't put a bar bet in it. I would put a beer on that bet. I'm just being honest. Today is still Thursday, March the 3rd, or unless you're watching this later in the future, then it might not be Thursday, March the 3rd. But this has been, for Thursday, March the 3rd, things you might not have heard. And I am still Jay Cleveland Payne, and I will probably still be that in the future. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode, for this escapade, if you will. Whether you joined us live or in the future, make sure you drop it in the comments where you're watching us, whether on Facebook or on the YouTube. And so we make sure we are giving you what you need. Hopefully you are enjoying having the rundown, having the links in the comments, or in the description, so you can see what's going on. We may put that in the comments in the future. We're trying to figure out where exactly to put that, so you don't leave before you see it. Big thanks to Big O who popped in on live this morning. And like I said, if you pop in, just say hello on whatever feature you're using, whatever site you're using, and we will give you your ups. You also, if you have a kind of trivia thing, you can give us that as well. And if you have a birthday, why the hell not? Send us a birthday. We'll pop in there when it comes along. I am wrapping up. Jay Cleveland Payne saying so long. Stay hydrated, stay limber, stay on task, because the world needs you to get that thing done. We'll get this thing done one more time when we wrap up for the weekend. Wrap up the week for the weekend. Yes, words don't work so well today. Coming up on Friday,